Zambia, and welcome to the Smart Voices debate, sponsored by Zambia Revenue Authority. My name is Chanzi Sikazwe, and I'll be your host for this season. Today we have with us proposing Katova Secondary School and opposing Monali Boys to the motion that states, and I quote, "This House believes that cashless payment systems enhance tax compliance and improves tax administration." And I repeat, this House believes that cashless payment systems enhance tax compliance and improves tax administration. I will now read the rules of this debate. Rule number 1. No religious references, quotations, or concepts will be allowed. Physical evidence is allowed, which includes a demonstration of evidence and shall be handed over to the adjudicator. Handwritten, printed, or published materials. The following items are prohibited in the preparation room: mobile phones, particularly smartphones, cameras, tablets, PCs, MP3 players, and anything that can store data electronically and or connect to the internet. The sequence of the debate shall be as follows. The first speaker on each team present their arguments for 4 minutes, no interjections. The second and third speakers will speak for 3 minutes. Interjections will be allowed. The speaker summarizing will be allowed 4 minutes, no interjections. Interjections are allowed and shall be done as follows. Interjections will be allowed after the first 1 minute of a speaker taking the floor. Each interjection will be done within a minute. A speaker can only be interjected twice. The moderator will enforce the rules, allowing or rejecting interjections or calls for support. A timekeeper will pause the speaker's time when there's an interjection. And lastly, a team can propose to support the speaker after an interjection. I will now call upon the icebreaker and the first speaker of this debate, the first speaker from the proposing side.
Debate is all about being bombastic, sarcastic, or using big words. I, Chimwemwe Mwanza, hereby propose to the motion that states, as I quote, "This House believes that cashless payment system enhance tax compliance and improve tax," to which I strongly agree. As the first speaker from proposing side, allow me to pass my humble greetings to the following people in this House of Debate. To the chairperson, respective judges, and my lovely audience, I greet you all. Allow me to define the key terms in our motion. The first key term in our motion is tax. Tax is the money that must be paid from the state. To show that I'm a debater who speaks from within, not from without, may the Good Samaritan pass the evidence to the judges for further verification. We have types of tax: pay as you earn tax, road tax, value added tax. The second key term in our motion is cashless payments. Cashless payments refers to transactions that do not involve physical currency. Instead, these transactions are made using digital payment methods, which include credit or debit card, mobile payments, online banking, and digital wallets. The third key term in our motion is tax compliance. Tax compliance refers to the degree to which individuals or businesses do tax, including filing tax returns, paying tax on tax compliance. The last key term in our motion is tax administration. Tax administration refers to the process of managing and enforcing laws. In addition, cashless payments leave a digital trail, making it easier for tax authorities to track transactions and identify potential tax evasion, to which they increase transparency. With these viewpoints,
Point of order.
I submit.
Point of order denied. You are not allowed to interject or ask a point of order from the first speaker. Second and third. Thank you so much, Madam Icebreaker. I will now call upon the first speaker from the opposing side.
Not every upgrade is an uplift. If innovation forgets inclusion,
it becomes a polished form of exclusion. Arms of appreciation I raise to you, the judges, the chairperson, and the moderator. Standing in front of you is none other than the Mighty Mnali, and coming from the Mighty Mnali Boys Secondary School by the name Zulu Remy, here to strongly oppose to the motion which states, as I quote, "This House believes that cashless payment system enhances tax compliance and improves tax administration. Being the first speaker from team opposition, it is indeed my role, my duty and my obligation to outline the important terms of the motion. Cashless system. These are digital payments made without using physical cash. They include mobile money such as Airtel or MTN mobile money, bank transfers, e-wallet, QR code, debit or credit cards. To enhance is simply to improve or to strengthen something. In this case, we are talking of improving and strengthening tax compliance and tax administration. Tax compliance, it is the extent to which individuals abide by the tax laws, registering, filing returns, and paying tax accurately and on time. Tax administration, it is a system or processes the Zambian government agencies like the Zambia Revenue Authority uses to process, collect, and enforce tax. May the Good Samaritan all the way from Jerusalem to hear the smart voice pass this to the judge for further verification of definitions. Thank you. We speak in turns, but we strike as one. Each speaker a path to truth. Sit back, relax as my team will flow non-stop like a river's roll. Starting from my second speaker to our last speaker. As our second speaker will discuss on digital divide, security risk, informal economic concerns. And our third speaker will talk of poor network connectivity which affects cashless transaction. We also talk of the results of deterioration of tax compliance and administration. Not forgetting our last speaker will come here with a recap on the key points, plus to vandalize what will be stated by team preposition. Tax system built under illiteracy will collapse under illiteracy. If the people can't read, the system can't lead. Let us do a bit of mathematics here. Let us look at, according to the population of Zambia, according to the estimate of 2025, it is 21.9 million. What about the literacy rate? The literacy rate is at 87.5%. What about the literacy rate? The literacy rate will just subtract 100% minus 87.5%, which is giving us a 12.5%. And when we convert to 12.5% to the decimals, it is giving us a 0.125. And when we multiply the 0.125 times the population of a country, it is giving us a 2737500, which means over 2.7 million Zambians are illiterate. Now, how do you expect a cashless system to improve tax compliance when over 2.7 million Zambians can't read or write? These people can't understand digital transaction, digital messages, or anything to deal with mobile system payments. Illiteracy turns cashless system into locked doors, not open gates. And when millions people are excluded, tax compliance, tax administration will not improve. It will break. Please, may the Good Samaritan all the way from Jerusalem once again pass this to the judge for further verification of the rates and the population of Zambia. For tax compliance to succeed, no one, I repeat, no one must be left behind. We need a system which includes everyone, a system which includes the illiterate, the informal, and the offline. Because in the end, it's not all about participation. It's not all about payment. It is about participation. It is about you. It is about me. It is about each and every citizen of a country to see, to think, and to see the results which are coming, to determine our destiny. That's why we always say, my tax, your tax, our destiny. And I, ZULU cubed, REMMY, raised my case.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for not only breaking the ice, but demolishing it. I will now call upon the second speaker from the proposing side.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady, for calling upon a bona fide, dignified, certified, qualified, clarified debater as myself. I, Veronica Moa, hereby propose to the motion which has already stated by the icebreaker. Firstly, it would be so unwise for a beautiful intellectual like me to go further without passing my humble greetings to the following. To the chairperson, the judges, and my lovely audience, I greet you all. As the second speaker from the proposing side, the reason why I strongly oppose to this motion is due to the following reasons. Firstly, members of this auditorium, cashless payments make it more difficult for individuals and businesses to hide income or engage in tax evasion schemes. Digital transactions can be monitored and audited, increasing the risk of detection for tax evaders. Members of this auditorium, cashless payments can reduce the administrative burden on tax authorities by automating tax calculations and payments. Secondly, members of this august house, cashless payments provide a wealth of data that can be analyzed to identify trend patterns and potential tax compliance risks. Tax authority can use this data to target high-risk taxpayers and improve the effectiveness of tax audits and investigations. In support of my point, may the Good Samaritan do as well.
Point of interjection.
Point of interjection allowed.
Before I go any further, may I please recognize the presence of the judges. By the way, I really like your confidence. And I don't know if you have heard about the individual taxes rate. Now, imagine people who earn over 110,400 are taxed 37% to the judges for further analysis. Now, allow me to give you a scenario so that you don't forget. Now, imagine how about those people who are not doing their businesses, maybe not based on online, because cashless payment systems, they disregard efficient tax rate. Because imagine a person who owns a farm and maybe earns approximately 300,000 in a day, in a month rather. Now, if they're supposed to pay 37% of tax, it would be approximately 110,400. Now, imagine them paying a 20%, and that is, let's make it approximately 68,000. How would that be inclusive? How will cashless payment systems make that efficient? Because there are no accounts that
Mr.
afford it.
Interjector, may you please wind up?
All right. So my main point is that cashless payment systems, they disregard accurate taxing because, trust me, online based, they're fraudsters.
May the current speaker continue speaking.
Oh, Speaker X, due to time, I won't answer your questions. Maybe the points that I'm about to raise, they will clarify your point. Lastly, members of this auditorium, cashless payments can provide a convenient and user-friendly experience for taxpayers, reducing the need for physical visits to tax offices or banks. Instead of taxpayers can use mobile network operators. In support of my point, may the Good Samaritan do as wise.
Point of interjection.
Point of interjection allowed.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. You said cashless payments or online payments are user-friendly. Now, how about those people who are in Luapula who have never been to school? Are they user-friendly to them? Are they also going to be able to go about the cashless payment systems without education?
Speaker X, I'll give you a scenario of where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a rural area, which is Katoa Secondary School. And there people are literally not educated, right? But you find that there are times whereby, let's say when it comes to...
Point of order.
Point of order denied. May the current speaker finish her point.
So you find that people, like where I'm coming from in Katoa area, when it comes to mobile network operators, people with smartphones can also go ahead in paying tax using their smartphones.
Madam Moderator, with all due respect, point of order.
Point of order allowed.
All right, in the rules. Thank you very much. In the rules of debate, we are advised that we are addressing the audience and not against each other. It's not beef. Even if it would be beef, we are vegetarians. Thank you.
Lastly, cashless payments can help reduce the size of the cash economy, which is often associated with tax evasion and other illicit activities. With these few but convincing points, I rest my case.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for educating us on this matter. I will now call upon the second speaker from the opposing side.
Cashless payments, freedom lost, government monitoring every single cost. arms of appreciation are raised to you, the panel of judges, Madam Moderator, our very own Good Samaritan, and the audience. My name is Shepard Walia, coming all the way from the mighty Mnali Boys, where only the best, yes, indeed, only the best is good enough. Here to oppose the motion that has already been stated by my fellow netted colleagues here. And now let us dive into why us, as the great Mnali Boys, are opposing this motion. Number one, it's digital divide. Limited access to the internet, networks, and phones is hindering the adoption of cashless payment systems. What do I mean? People in rural areas have limited access to smartphones and the internet. According
Point of interjection.
Point of order.
Point of order allowed.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Please, Speaker X, this is not a battle like we said. We are here to debate intellectually and educate the audience, educate the Zambian people, not to battle against each other. Thank you.
Panel, do you still request for a point of interjection?
It's fine, we can go ahead.
May the current speaker continue speaking.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. As I was saying, limited access to technical and technology devices such as smartphones is hindering the adoption of cashless payment systems. According to a report that was released by ZICTA in 2022, it states that only 17.7% of households in the rural areas have actually access to smartphones. These are the only people that can perform cashless payment systems, because you can't run a Zanaco app on a phone that has been published by Zamtel. You can't. You can't run an Indo-Zambia bank on an ITEL phone that runs with buttons. You need internet connections for you to be able to process such payment systems. So now, if only 17.7% of these people are able to participate in such a thing, is that tax administration? Is ZROA actually reaching out to the majority of people? No. Cashless payment systems are only here to exclude the majority of people. The majority of people in Chibolia, those people who cannot read and write, those people who cannot really understand English. And to show that I am a man of the books, may the Good Samaritan please pass it over to the panel of judges. Number two is security risks. Cashless payments are vulnerable to hacking. They are vulnerable to scams. Since the beginning of last year, I believe all of us have received a call from an unknown number stating that they have sent us money and they require us to send it back. All of those are issues of scam. And when monies are being scammed out like this, not only are the people losing, but also the nation is losing out in revenue. According to a report that was released by ZNBC, Honorable Minister for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Honorable Jack Mwimbu, together with his fellow counterpart, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga, stated that the nation had lost over 111 million kwacha from scams. That evidence will be provided by my fellow net colleague, the third speaker, who come here and clarify more on that. The other thing is the informal economic concerns. Ladies and gentlemen, a significant number of our country's economy relies on the informal sector. Who are the informal sector? The marketeers, the farmers, the bus drivers, the mechanics. These are people who have less education. 30 seconds to sum up, Honorable Moderator.
30 seconds allocated.
As I was saying, the informal sector makes about 89.5% of the Zambia's economy. And if this informal sector, these are the people that do not have quality access to these internet services. They do not know how to purchase. They do not know how to go about cashless payment systems. All of these people are being excluded, and taxes are not being properly administrated in that way, and compliance cannot be reached. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shepard Valia, and I will allow my fellow NELED colleagues to come and sum it all up and put it all together. I rest my case.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for that articulation. I will now call upon the third speaker from the proposing side.
Here comes a boy who killed a lion with his mouth. But before I teach you how to fly from Zambia to Canada on a chicken, let me pass my humble greetings to the foreign people. The chairperson, the judges, and my lovely audience, I greet you all. Back to the motion that was already being stated by the first speaker, I, Alexander, stand here to propose to this motion. The reason why I propose to this motion is because of the following. Cashless payment systems can automatically report transactions to tax authorities, reducing the likelihood of underreporting income. Business and individuals are more likely to comply with tax laws when transactions are digitally recorded and easily traceable. May the Good Samaritan do as wise. Secondly, members of this House, by reducing tax evasion and increasing compliance, cashless payments can lead to increased revenue generation for government. This revenue can be used to fund public goods and services benefiting society as a whole. Lastly, but not the least, cashless payments provide a wealth of data that can be analyzed to identify trends, patterns, and potential tax compliance risks. Tax authorities can use this data.
Point of interjection allowed.
Right. A digital trail without a tax ID is nothing. And you cannot tax someone who you don't know. You cannot tax someone who doesn't have a tax ID or maybe a tipping. For a person to pay tax, he needs to have a taxpayer's identification number. But now, how can you trace a person who doesn't have taxpayer's identification number? Who am I talking about? Am I talking about the informal sector? Most of the informal sector, they don't have taxpayer's identification number, but yet they provide a large impact to the economy. Now, give me a solution on what you're talking about and how the ZRA can trace those people who doesn't have the taxpayer's identification number. What's the solution?
The current speaker may continue speaking.
Tax authorities can use this data to target high-risk taxpayers and...
Point of interjection allowed.
Now, current speaker, we did not ask that question so that you may brush it off. The people of Zambia would actually want to know what you think that the Zambia Revenue Authority can do in order to resolve this problem. Thank you.
The current speaker may either continue speaking or I would allow a point of defense from his panel.
Can you kindly please repeat the question that you asked?
Please do repeat the question.
Right. Thank you. I was talking about a person who doesn't have a tax ID or a TPIN, which is a taxpayer's identification number. For a person to pay tax, he or she is supposed to have a taxpayer's identification number. Now, when we look at the informal sector, most of them, they don't have the taxpayer's identification number, but yet they provide a large impact to the economy of Zambia, which can boost the tax compliance. Now, I asked the Speaker X to say how and what is a solution for the ZRA, how they can trace or track the data so that they can have each and every data for the person in the informal sector. Because if your data forgets the market, then it's pointless, it's useless. You need to have data for each and every citizen. Now, what's the solution for the ZRA to track each and every informal sector, is study for the formal sector and the informal sector to have the perfect data and the 100% data needed for the data policy and everything?
If there is no point of defense, may the current speaker continue educating us.
Tax authorities can use this data to target high-risk taxpayers and improve the effectiveness of tax audits and investigations. With these few but convincing points,
Point of interjection denied.
I submit.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for those quotations. I will now call upon the third speaker from the opposing side.
Speaking of cashless payment systems and how good they look, right? Well, looks can be deceiving because what are they without a good internet connection? A report by Zicta this year indicates that Airtel was fined 4 million kwacha for internet disruption to the judges for further analysis, of which when we even talk about other networks, the network still remains to be poor. But yet again, it is not the fault of the internet service providers because we cannot force the network to dance to our tune. But yet again, we cannot disregard that for a fact, tax compliance and administration are being crucified, not enhanced. Bona fide affiliates, members of this house, I welcome you yet to another session of speech where you shall notice I, the eloquent Henry Emmanuel Manasseh, put this case to rest. And you know what comes next. But before I punctuate my authority into this room, may I simply say, protocol, be highly observed. Now, allow me to give you a scenario so that you don't forget. Imagine you're sitting at the comfort of your home, listening to some good music and having some good time. And all of a sudden, you just receive a message from Zicta indicating that you should put your you should put your PIN, because the network is passing through some kind of technical issues. And as a good citizen, and because you want to pay your tax, guess what? You put your PIN. But one thing that you will not know is that these are fraudsters, and the only thing that they want to get from you is your money. But you won't know because the platform looks zikta, the platform looks legit. The same way that certain women tend to look beautiful on Facebook, not until you meet them in reality. And once you enter your PIN, all of a sudden your entire money is squandered. Because how do you think a certain bank in Zambia was hacked, and it led to the millions of kwacha of its customers being lost? I won't mention this bank for credibility's sake. Or maybe how do you think a certain internet service provider in Zambia was hacked, and $24,000 was lost out of the hacking? Once again, I won't mention for credibility's sake to the judges for further analysis. What we as team opposition are saying is that in as much as cashless payment systems have brought about easy tax pay, they have also brought about a golden opportunity for fraudsters to take advantage of. Because look at it this way, it's not just a matter of paying taxes, it is a matter of creating a bond based on trust between the taxpayers and the tax authorities, thereby enhancing a nation full of taxpayers. Because just as my learned first speaker, Mr. What is your name? Okay, Mr. Zululemi, just as he said, thereby enhancing the motion, my tax, your tax, and our destiny. Because I believe the CEO of TransUnion Zambia, Mr. Mildred Stevenson, said it best. Allow me to quote him. Digital fraud waxes and wines, but the trends in cybercrime and consumer scams are clear. Bona fide affiliate members of this house have been with you, Mr. Henry Emmanuel Manasseh. Thank you very much. The judges for further analysis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for that eloquence. I will now call upon the summarizer from the proposing side.
As a beautiful girl starts walking, the ground starts shaking. When you see a beautiful girl like me, you wonder if I'm a she-boy diva like Justin Bieber. But before I go any further, allow me to rely on the already laid protocol laid by my icebreaker. As the summarizer from the proposing team, allow me to go straight into articulating my points. The Zambian Revenue Authority, ZRA, has been modernizing its operations to strengthen domestic sources modelization. One strategy has been the adoption and promotion of cashless payment systems for tax transactions, including online banking, mobile money, point-of-sale terminals, and government service bus (GSB) platforms. These systems aim to improve efficiency, reduce leakages, and enhance tax.
Point of order. Denied. May the current speaker continue speaking.
And enhance tax convenience, ultimately supporting voluntary compliance. How cashless payments enhance tax compliance under...
Moderator, for the purpose of speech and information to our Zambian citizens, point of order.
Point of order. Allowed.
All right, you know, when a lawyer walks into the courtroom, he cannot speak not until he has evidence. No wonder you have to be proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. I would really love for you to present evidence. And by the way, Mr. Moderator, I'm not trying to gossip, but send me to Canada on a chicken. I doubt it.
Thank you so much. But please do be informed, you are not allowed to interject the last speakers. Please continue.
How cashless payments enhance tax compliance under ZRA is through the following. Firstly, cashless transactions create a verifiable digital record, allowing ZRA to track payments and consult taxpayer declarations. This reduces opportunities for underreporting fraud, especially in sectors prone to cash-based operations. In addition, members of this auditorium, through mobile money, online banking, and e-payment platforms, taxpayers can settle obligations without physical visiting ZRA offices or banks. This ease of payment encourages timely compliance and reduces excuse for non-payment. On the other hand, members of this auditorium, encouraging digital payments helps formalize parts of the economy that previously operated outside the tax net. For example, integrating mobile money and e-invoicing captures more small-scale traders and service providers. Members of this House, besides that, how cashless payments improve tax administration on ZRA is through the following. Real-time revenue monitoring, ZRA can monitor daily revenue collections through digital dashboards, improving forecasting and cash management for the Treasury. In addition, digital systems reduce manual processing and reconciliation of payments, freeing ZRA staff to focus on audits.
Point of order denied. The law shall not be changed. May the current speaker continue speaking.
Freeing ZRA staff to focus on audits, compliance monitoring, and taxpayer education. On the other hand, transactions data from banks, mobile operations, and payments gateways support data-driven risk assessments, helping ZRA identify non-compliant taxpayers and potential revenue leakages. To sum it all, members of this auditorium, in Zambia, cashless payment systems have positively transformed ZRA's operations by promoting transparency, efficiency, and taxpayer convenience. While challenges remain, continued digital innovations such as integrations of e-invoicing, mobile tax services, and data sharing between financial institutions and ZRA will further enhance taxpayer compliance and strengthen tax administrations. With these few bad convincing points, I rest our case.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for that brief yet detailed summary. I will now call upon the last speaker of this debate, the summarizer from the opposing side.
Here comes with fire, a clarifier, a simplifier, of course, an amplifier. My name is Victor Katapula, ready to set the tone so higher. Cashless dream may look so bright, but in the field, it loses the fight. Leaving some in darkness steals their light, but don't worry, Mr. Katapula is here to make things all right. Arms of appreciation to whom my cognitive prestigious jurisdiction have been humbly accepted. In simplicity, all protocol are under my scrutiny. It is a prodigious delight to participate in this argument. And it is very magnanimous that we examine the motion on the technical perspective point of view. All right. So now, members of this auditorium, what the team preposition are trying to do, this is simply give us the mode of payment, but indirectly disallowing us to make the payment. What am I trying to say? Firstly, it is important to note that there's limited accessibility. Let me just summarize and echo everything that my team opposition have stated. There's limited accessibility. The study shows about 53.09% of people that are resided in rural areas, which shows to say the majority of Zambian people are in rural areas. And mind you, it is in rural areas that we have poor network connectivity, that we have limited digital access to these platforms, as well as high levels of illiteracy. The ZRA says, my tax, your tax, our destiny. So when we impose this so-called cashless payment, it simply means we're excluding the majority of these Zambian people. And can that be core tax compliance? No, it cannot. May the Good Samaritan do as wise. And to show that I'm speaking from a well-researched point of view, secondly, let me provide with you on how these cashless payments do not enhance tax compliance and tax administration. A study shown by the University of Zambia simply showed that 60% of these SMEs have been finding it very difficult for them to do the e-filing as well as to file on time, which prompted them to look for a third party. And that makes them vulnerable. Is that tax compliance? No, because people are not participating in this. And not only that, let me provide another evidence by the Zika Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Anthony Bwembia, stated something on these tax systems. He stated something on how it brings about delays. Not only delays, but on how it brings about administrative burden, because it is these system glitches that lowers tax administration. Amen. Hallelujah. All right, may the Good Samaritan do as wise. To show that I'm speaking from a well-researched point of view, thirdly, it's very important to note that there's limited accessibility. After limited accessibility, there's what we call lowering of the so-called tax administration and compliance. Then thirdly, what is important to note is that these things, they make us vulnerable to fraud, not only fraud, but to cyber crime. And a study was taken, and it was reported by Honorable Jack Mwimbu, Minister of Home Affairs, as it has been stated by the previous speaker, to say 100 million was lost in Zambia by these scammers. That simply shows to say people in cashless payments, they will really, really lack trust. And as long as people cannot trust something, they cannot entrust it with anything. So now, what enhances tax compliance? Number one is tax education, trust in governance and transparency, as well as dual payments. We follow countries like South Africa, Rwanda. Yeah, because for some people, they prefer hard cash. They're not learned. How are they going to operate? No, they are not. So it's very important to note that. Not the people from the team proposition that we're just reading out. I don't know if it was AI generated, but it's important that we understand to say these cashless payments, they bring about limited access. So now, my name is Victor, like I stated. My name will remain a mystery until this day turns into an history. The Good Samaritan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Summarizer. We have come to the end of this brilliant battle of the brains. But don't go anywhere as the judges tally the results. Who do you think has won? Katoa or Monali boys?
Education is the cornerstone of any nation's development. And with the introduction of free education in Zambia, the education sector is seeing significant improvements thanks to the effective utilization of tax revenues. The Zambia Revenue Authority plays a crucial role in this process. By effectively collecting taxes, ZRA ensures that the government has the necessary funds to support and expand the education sector. Thanks to the ZRA's increased efforts, many new schools are being built across Zambia. These new facilities provide a better learning environment for students, helping them reach their full potential. Tax revenues also ensure that schools are equipped with the necessary materials. From textbooks to laboratory equipment, these resources are essential for comprehensive education. A portion of the tax funds also goes towards training and paying our dedicated teachers. Investing in teachers means investing in the future of our children. By supporting education through tax revenues, we are building a brighter future for Zambia. Together, we can create a society where every child has the opportunity to succeed. Zambia Revenue Authority. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
The results are in. The judges have decided. And the results are as follows. Katoa Secondary School, the proposing side, has scored a total of 638. Monali Boys Secondary School, the opposing side, has scored a total of 638. This is the Smart Voices debate. Monali Boys Secondary School has scored 881 points. Therefore, Monali Boys has qualified to the next stage. See you next week for another debate. Check it out.